So we'll go with that. We've got obviously big developments here with the former Rep. George Santos case, just getting the sentencing down here today. More than 7 years in prison is what we're hearing. And this was, the congressman who lied about the life story and defrauded donors. That's kind of the backstory to this case. But we've got an update from it looks like, I'm going to guess prosecutors, but I'm not positive. But we've generally got some reaction here to this kind of coming to a conclusion. So let's take you there now.
Can hear it?
No.
I just delivered a victim's impact statement to the court detailing his crime against the Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund. He certified every week that he was unemployed through no fault of his own while he was collecting a $120,000 salary from a company in Florida. And this is not a victimless crime. This impacts the people standing to my right. This impacts people trying to get their benefits from the unemployment insurance offices. It impacts businesses who pay into the trust fund. And more than anything else, it tends to destroy the people's faith in government. We are, for him to then go on and become an elected representative and be a co-sponsor of a bill that would actually enhance the charges against people who commit this fraud is the height of hypocrisy. And, I take my service as a public servant incredibly seriously. My whole job is to ensure that the public is served the way that they deserve. And they do not deserve to be built by this kind of fraudster.
How important was it for you to speak today on behalf of the victims that were here?
It was terribly important. We were talking earlier, people think of this as a victimless crime because it's about money. There are many victims in this crime, as I said, and remember that every week he had to certify, I am unemployed through no fault of my own. So every week he lied to the state of New York.
How do you feel about the sentence?
I think it's appropriate. I think the judge did a terrific job. Judge Seybert was wonderful, and she heard all of the testimony, and she sentenced him appropriately. As they said, it wasn't just one crime, it was 5.
And you also asked for the maximum.
We did.
You listened to him today. What did you think of his reaction?
It's sad that he's in this situation, but it is a situation of his own making. And as I said, he made these decisions every week. It wasn't a mistake, it wasn't an oops, it wasn't I don't know what I'm doing. It's very clear when you steal money from UI. And every week he lied to the state. And so I'm sorry for him, but every week he had a chance to change it and he didn't.
So you were speaking in behalf of taxpayers?
I am, absolutely.
Can you state your name one more time and spell it?
Roberta Reardon, RobertaReardon.
And what's your title, Ms. Reardon?
I'm the Commissioner of the New York State Department of Labor.
New York, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jody, that's a lot for us to hear you say what you said.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Jody Cass-Finkel. I'm the head of Concerned Citizens of New York 03. We're going to get started? Yeah. Okay. We actually said we were going to do a little press conference here with folks from the community who are going to talk a little bit about what happened today and what it means for our community. First of all, I want to say that, listening to George Santos, he blamed everybody else but himself, his mother and his father being bullied as a child. He's still lying. My reaction in sitting in the courtroom was cry me a river when he got that sentence. He has betrayed the public trust. And people are asking, is this closure for us? I will say this is not closure for us. Why isn't it closure? Because we have many elected officials representing us who are still lying. And so we will get closure as soon as the lying stops. And we are not going to wait. We will not be deceived again. And we are here today to announce the launch of a new project called DeceivedNation.com. And in that project, we will be holding our elected officials and our candidates accountable for everything that they say they're going to do, and everything that they do. So let's talk about lying. We are sick and tired of the incessant lies. Lies erode trust, they result in corruption, and worse, they create a climate of deceit. People expect dishonesty at this point, and people don't believe anything. Is he here? Okay. It used to be when there was a lie and an elected official got caught in a lie, they were shamed and they would resign. But that's not what's going on anymore. Now, when they're caught in a lie, they double down and they say ever more extreme lies. So this is how we see it. Humans have changed the way that they communicate. And the typical place where people used to get their information has shifted. But the guardrails, the regulation that helps to protect the public have not yet put in place. And in the absence, the Republican Party has been taking advantage of that and blatantly lying. So we are fighting back against those lies. The Santos debacle forced us to organize. We got a head start. And we would not let Santos's lies be normalized. We cannot let these other liars also be normalized. Today, in the face of ever more electeds with outrageous lies, we are launching this Deceive Nation project. Is it okay to run on a platform of promises that you have no intention of keeping? Is it okay to say what you're going to do and then when you get elected, you change it and you do the opposite? What about not fixing the things that you say you're going to fix that cost your constituents money, and then taking donations from the people who make millions from an inefficient system? We created Deceive Nation to address, because we see the disinformation, we see the distortions, we see the distractions, and we see the outright lies. So, and if it goes unresponded, we know that if there's no pushback, it gets normalized. So that's what we're here to talk about today. We're going to hear from a few people around the district. Our first person we're going to hear from is Aiden Davis from Plainview. Aiden.
Let me just... Thank you, everyone. My name is Aiden Davis. I'm 20 years old. I'm a student at Princeton University, and I'm from Plainview. When I first heard about George Santos's lies and fabrications, I knew it was my obligation as a young person to use my voice for one thing: to get him out of office. I joined Concerned Citizens of New York 03 in December of 2022, and since then I've been alongside these great people in the fight to get accountability for our district. As a young person, I know the corrosive effects of liars like Santos on the trust of my generation in our government and our politics. My generation grew up in a social media environment based on lies and deception. The incentives to lie online are so high because of engagement-based algorithms and institutions so distrusted that it's now almost impossible to know what's true anymore. So to see someone like George Santos so brazenly take advantage of this and our district to get elected is perhaps the grossest misuse of our information ecosystem that I can think of. It's not just that Santos's lies betrayed our district's trust. The lies he used to get elected, to boost himself and to take down his opponent, has emboldened deceitful politicians to further degrade our political dialogue and throw campaigns into the gutter. Over the course of the past 2 election cycles, we've seen brazen lies on nasty mailers targeting incumbents and candidates alike. What has this led to? A chilling effect on young people, women, and other vulnerable groups from running for office, for fear that they'd be easy targets for these low-blow falsehoods. We, as informed and responsible citizens, have to get the people to push back on the lies. That's why DeceiveNation.com was created, to push back on the lies from politicians and their henchmen and their PACs that flood our feeds every day. As citizens, we must demand honesty, integrity, and transparency from our elected officials. And when they don't live up to that, we must hold them accountable. And when they lie, instead of allowing them to double down on their lie, we must call them out. Call out their lie